Good morning and welcome to this weekly market update from MRC Markets. Today is the 11th of July 2013. What we'll do today is go through technical analysis on Euro dollar, cable, dollar yen, dollar Swiss, Aussie dollar, Euro sterling and gold. Just sort of review what's been going on in the charts, and I'll go through any sort of setups that I see, and basically just comment on what I think is interesting in the markets in the minute and what to look out for. We're not making any trade calls recommendations in this video. You trade at your own risk. If you can please read our full disclaimer on our website, www.mrcmarkets.com. For any new followers, we have 3 moving averages in each of these charts. The red one is a 50 simple moving average, the purple is a 100 simple moving average, and the gold one is a 200 simple moving average. So yeah, basically have a look through the sort of daily charts, 4 hour, maybe 1 hour, and maybe even the weekly charts as well for a bit of context, because some of the charts have been quite choppy. For example, this euro dollar one here, and if looking for some sort of context on where I think the market will go, then it's always good to zoom out, I think, as the chart should be clearer. Okay, then, let's have a look at this euro dollar chart. So I mean, this daily one, if you just purely look at the chart as an overall, it does look quite choppy. Very sideways action we have. This is the main support though, which is holding. I think we tweeted this. Yeah, we did, the one sort of 2770s. This is what has been holding. Great support level. We tweeted it a few days ago. Yeah, I remember when it was coming down. This candle here, actually tweeted it. Say, look to your left of your chart, see what's going on. Surprise, surprise. We have bounced up, all due from a big help from the FOMC last night. There's a very dovish statement, so the US dollar got very weak, as you can see on dollar yen as well if we flip to that, and dollar Swiss. Yeah, so I mean, it's been all about this 127.70s. What we've also got now though, as we do like to look at fibs on these videos, is this fib here from highs to lows. We've come in off of the 61.8% retracement here. Big sort of candlestick spike, and sellers have already started to come in, but it is finding a bit of support here at the 50-day moving average and the 100-day moving average. And also, if you flip it to the 4 hours, getting a bit of support of the 100 SMA as well. So in terms of the daily chart, that's what I'm really focused on. I mean, don't forget though, if you're looking at context, you want to look at the bigger time frames, and this weekly chart is quite an interesting one. This is the fib here that's still in play, this long setup, so I'll just get rid of the 78 spot 6 here for now. I don't look at that too much. Let's just keep it to the sort of 50% and 61.8%. Think of it as like a zone, for a sort of dip zone. This setup is still in play. People who perhaps would have been buying off the 50% retrace with stops below 61.8. This setup is still in play, and those swing longs will be looking to take out that 0% line, so that is still in play, and that's also why that why that key support works so well. And I thought that's why that key support works so well, and it's not surprising to see it work so well, really. But if you're looking at shorter things to look out for, then this fib is definitely what I keep my eyes on. And then for the buyers, shorter term buyers, if we do come back down, then this is the fib that I'll be looking at here. So from the lows to the highs there. What happens if we get down here around a 1 spot 29.70s? Of course, the 130 handle is a key sort of bull bear line, really. And the action has been very interesting around that of late. And that's all pretty much it really in terms of euro dollar. So it has been quite choppy, and yeah, just focus on the key levels really, and the key swings. Look at the obvious ones, because if it is quite choppy, then just zoom out, because if you look at the sort of 1 hour, well, the 1 hour I suppose is quite similar to that 4 hour, but if you're looking at shorter time frames, it can get quite messy. So if you do find it messy, then I'd always personally recommend just zooming out and looking for the clearer time frames. Okay, on cable. Cable's an interesting chart. We tested and we broke the yearly lows and they acted as very nice support. The pretty much one spot 48.30s. Well, one spot 48.30 was the yearly low. We came back down, tested that, pressed into it. Buyers came back up. We closed above, and we've started to pop up yesterday. So that's a very key level. The fib I'll be looking out for, similar to Euro, is an obvious swing from highs to lows there. If we come up to the 50%, that stands at 1.5281s. We have a couple of moving averages just above them as well. So you've got the 50-day and the 100-day moving average. And for any short-term buyers, fib that may be interesting if we come back down will be this little one here on the 4-hour, and that 50% coincides with the 150 handle as well. So that'll be an interesting one to look out for. And that's pretty much my focus on the cable, really. Well, actually, no, let's flip it to this weekly, just to give. I always like to remind people of this context. I've tweeted this a few times. This huge fib here, it's always good to remind yourself of this one here. So this fib is from the low of 2009 to the high of 2009. It is still well in play. You can see, like previously, it's reacted so well. This was off a 78.6 there, 61.8 there, bam, multiple, 3 huge attempts there off the 50% bit. So this setup is still technically in play. Setup is done and dusted, in my opinion, when it takes out the 0% line. So this one now, we're now sitting on the 61.8, it's pretty much to the pip. Last week's weekly candle closed just above, and this week's candle is pressed a little bit lower, and it's come back up and we start to push up. So I'd highly recommend always keeping an eye out on this one for some context. And if you're struggling for bias, of course, zoom out in the bigger time frames, and that's a perfectly good example there. So yeah, we've done the weekly, we've done the daily, and I suppose the daily and the 4 hours, similar sort of thing, really. I mean, it's still that same fib there. That's one that I really keep my focus on. You can see it's an interesting fib, that one, because you can see it's also previous resistance just around there, and you've got that 50 SMA capped very nicely. So if we do continue to grind high this week, which is looking like it may want to do, then that'll definitely be one that I keep a lookout for there, because it should be quite an interesting play. Dollar yen hasn't been my most favourite chart, but it's looking quite interesting at the minute on the daily. I mean, automatically you can see there we get a nice little test of the 100-day moving average. The daily candlestick close would be interesting today. If it's a nice hammer, then I won't be surprised to see it continue to grind higher on this daily chart and maybe take out these highs. Is that a 50% retrace as well? No, it's not. It's probably a 38 spot 2. That's the only thing I really care about, to be honest with you, on this daily chart. Similar sort of thing, the 4 hour, really. In fact, I just want to see if it is a 38.2. But you see the moving averages are playing well there. So on the daily chart, it's a 100-day moving average, on this 4 hour, it's the 200 SMA. So interesting sort of confluence there with the moving averages, always useful to see. Yeah, look at that, 38.2, also previous high here as well. So interesting level there, that 98.50s. This recent 4 hour candle, lovely reversal candle there. Wouldn't be surprised to see that continue to grind higher. Very interesting setup, and to be honest, that's all I'll really be focused on this dollar yen chart. To be honest with you, still in terms of the fundamentals, it's still very bullish in my opinion. But of course, it could do a big ray trace at any time, but it looks like it just wants to keep on grinding higher. Dollar Swissy, been a very volatile chart in this daily chart. Very, very, very choppy, but it has been playing the fib. So remember we spoke about this fib before, so I'm just going to get rid of 38.2 for now. Talking about this fib previously, this was a nice little zone that really worked well. And this one here is what it's all about, in my opinion. A lovely little setup here you got from lows to highs there. And you can see lovely bit of confidence as well, the 100-day moving average, and we're getting some nice wicky lower wick candles here. So the daily candlestick close would be really interesting today. If it's a nice sort of hammer, I wouldn't be surprised to see it grind higher on this daily chart and perhaps take out that 0% line. Really nice fib setup there. And it's the similar thing on the 4 hour, to be honest with you. Nice bit of confidence as well, very similar to dollar yen there. So on the dollar yen, you had a daily chart, 100-day moving average is the confluence. and the 4 hour had a 200 SMA. Similar thing to dollar Swiss. Daily chart, 100-day moving average bang on the fib line. And then on the 4 hour you got the 200 SMA as well. So interesting charts there, but I think the most obvious fib plays are always the best ones in my opinion. So you've got a lovely solid uptrend there, and then a quick retrace, and dip buyers coming in at a healthy retracement level to then bring this market back up, and that's what's going on in that dollar Swiss. I think it will happen. Aussie dollar's just been grinding lower really, nothing massively of interest. No interesting fib setups because it could do a healthy retrace any time. You've got that trendline resistance there. I'll keep an eye out for. I mean, you can keep on selling these, selling the dips here, but nothing massively of interest. I think that was a 38.2% confluence off that trend line. Yeah, 38.2% confidence. You've got a trendline resistance here, and the dip sellers just coming in at that trendline resistance. A nice little fib confluence as well there, but nothing massively interesting. I think if you flip to the longer term time frames, what else is going on? Where the sort of buyers could be coming in. That's quite an interesting fib actually, because it was a really good previous support here. Then it broke lower. You can now see we've broke below the 61.8 here, and sellers are trying to cap it at the 61.8. So that'd be an interesting one to look out for in terms of the weekly close. See where it closes. If it closed below the 61.8, then it's just got a lot of room to come back down really, because the next key support on this weekly chart is this 0.80 61s, which is a long way away. So it really could just be in free fall mode really. But in terms of shorter time frames, nothing massively interest in my opinion. It's just quite choppy. I wouldn't be surprised to see it just keep on grind higher really. Maybe have a test this 50-day moving average here, because it is due a healthy retracement, especially if you look on this daily chart. But of course, it doesn't have to retrace at all. It can just keep on getting sold into at this trendline resistance or in any fibs. Euro sterling, you've got the trendline support holding here very nicely. It's been very messy around this area here, going really sideways. Not my favourite of charts to be honest. I think Euro and cable much clearer, much more interesting. It's all about this trendline support is still holding really. And you've got trendline resistance as well. So in the triangular formation, if it does break out here, then we really could see it really could fly up. But in terms of shorter time frames, it's very messy. Very messy, and that's why I think the longer term time frame is much clearer. If you flip to that weekly, it's just very obvious what's going on really. And that daily, I'll just leave it like that. That's the way I personally play it. If we come back down here, then I'll be surprised to see dip buyers coming out as trendline support. If you get a nice little wiki candle, nice reversal candle. Let's have a look at the gold chart. Gold also not massively interesting on the daily. 4 hour I think this was a nice little fib here, because I mean it has been we've had a very aggressive sell-off in gold on this daily chart, and the dip buyers are trying to push this back up to some sort of healthy level. Maybe the 50-day moving average will be the key here in my opinion, because it's been sold off on multiple occasions around here. Also around here, nice spike candle there, reversal, sold off, and it looks like it wants to come back up and test it again. So a lot of people would have been on this fib here from lows to highs there. Bam, came in 61.8, reversed higher and took out that 0% line. So maybe look out for another dip if we do come back down off this low here. There's one I'd personally use if it's going to top out here. See what happens if it comes down to sort of 1250s level, because it could reverse higher. Okay then, that's it, done for the charts. I hope you've enjoyed that video. I hope you found it useful. Just a nice sort of review on what's been going on and what to look out for in the charts really. There's some definitely interesting charts out there. Euro, dollar and cable especially, nice clean charts, interesting price action. But it has been quite choppy across a lot of the pairs. But there's definitely some nice setups out there. If you look at the dollar Swiss and the dollar yen for example, really nice fib setups there. Not all of them are going to be clean and obvious. There's definitely some interesting moves out there. There's quite a lot of volatility as well. Quite a lot of big moves out there in the markets. big candles, and lots of opportunity in my opinion. So yeah, hope you enjoyed that. Have a great rest of the week trading, and I'll catch you next week. Thanks for listening.